Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Emily. Emily's favorite color was red. She had a red dress. She had red shoes. She even had a red hat that she wore all the time, a little stocking cap. She loved red so much that in fact, no one actually called her Emily. They all called her Little Red Riding Hood. Now, Little Red Riding Hood had a grandmother who lived deep in the woods who was very sick. So one day, she decided she would bring her some medicinal spirits. So she tucked her medicinal spirits in her bag and set off through the woods. As Little Red Riding Hood made her way all the way through the woods to her grandmother's house, along the way she came across the Big Bad Wolf. Now, the Big Bad Wolf, once upon a time, was a very fearsome, very awful fellow. That's why he got the name, the Big Bad Wolf. But he was getting on in years, and after an unfortunate accident involving 3 pigs and a chimney, he had a bit of a limp and wasn't so quick anymore, and really wasn't so dangerous as long as you kept your distance. So, the Big Bad Wolf, he saw Little Red Riding Hood coming along, and he said, "Little girl, come over here, I want to show you something." But Little Red Riding Hood, she was smarter than that. She knew about the Big Bad Wolf. She knew to keep her distance. So she said, "Nope, I'm fine right over here, Mr. Wolf. Don't mind me, I'll just be going on my way." The wolf said, "Oh, where are you going, Little Red Riding Hood?" She said, "I'm going to my grandmother's house. She's sick. I got some medicinal spirits here in my bag that I'm going to give her. They're going to make her feel better." And the Big Bad Wolf, he said, "Oh, what a sweet girl you are. Well, hurry on. I don't want to detain you. Go ahead. Go to your grandmother. Make her feel better." Little Red Riding Hood said, "I think I will. Goodbye." And off she went. Down the path. Well, the Big Bad Wolf, he was slow. He had that injury that was holding him back. He was old. He was very smart. He was very sly. And he knew a shortcut. So even as slow as he was, if he took the shortcut, he knew he could beat Little Red Riding Hood to the grandmother's house. So he did. He crept down the shortcut, and in no time, he was there at his grandmother's house. Now, Grandma was pretty fit and pretty strong, and as a general rule, the wolf steered clear of Grandma. But he knew she was sick, because Miss Little Red Riding Hood had told her she was sick. So he crept right in her house, and there she was in bed, sleeping, because she was sick. And he got nice close to her, and he swallowed her in one big bite. And oh, that grandmother felt good. That was a good meal. But you know what tastes even better? Little Red Riding Hood, follow up there. So he got under the covers, put the covers way up to his nose, and pretended he was the grandmother. So along comes Little Red Riding Hood. She's over there. There she is. Little Red Riding Hood comes into the house, and she sees the wolf, but he's all up in the covers, so she doesn't know it's the wolf. She thinks it's her grandmother. She says, "Hi, grandmother, I brought you some medicinal spirits to make you feel better." And the wolf, doing his best grandmother, said, "Oh, little girl, thank you so much. Come closer so I can see you." And Little Red Riding Hood, she says, "Doesn't quite sound right." She said, "Grandmother, are you feeling all right?" And the wolf, he said, "Oh, I just feel sick, that's all." She said, Little Red Riding Hood, she said, "Why do you sound a little funny?" She said, "Well, I'm sick, that's why I sound funny." She said, "Well, you look a little funny too." She said, "How do I look funny?" And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Well, grandmother, your eyes are so big." And the wolf, he said, "Well, all the better to see you with, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood said, "Well, Grandma, but your nose is so big." And the wolf, he said, "Well, all the better to smell you with, my dear." And Little Red Riding Hood, she said, "Grandma, your ears are so big." And the wolf, he said, "Well, all the better to hear you with, my dear." And then Little Red Riding Hood said, "But Grandma, your face is so hairy." And the wolf, he said, "Well, all the better to keep me warm on a cold night." still thought something was wrong, so she leaned in real close and she said, "Grandma, your mouth is so big and your teeth are so long and sharp." And the wolf, he said, "Yes, yes they are, aren't they? All the better to eat you in." And he ate her up in one bite. And then he was full. And he decided to take a nap. The end. Or it would have been the end, except there happened to be a woodsman traveling through the woods, and he heard all the commotion, and he burst in the door with his axe, and he drew his axe up hard, and the wolf, who was old and tired and completely full, couldn't even move, so the woodsman swung his axe, lopped off the wolf's head, split open his belly, and pulled out Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma, who were still in their hole, because the wolf didn't chew his food properly, he just swallowed them whole, so the woodsman was able to get them out, and they were okay, and they were relieved, and they all decided to have wolf stew that night, and they made a big meal, and they were very happy and very full.